week on Carly's Couch, we are bringing in 2023 with a conversation about what we are looking forward to for the new year.
Man, I'm excited about this new year, new me. I feel like I ain't heard anybody say that so far.
Nobody says that anymore because, well, when I think about it though, for a new year, it's like, I mean, there's a cynical people, and I've done this before, I've been that person before, where it's like, okay, guys, like, you don't have to wait for this new, like, time, new year to do things differently, to change whatever. But there is this undeniable kind of energy, I think, going into a new year that, does make you want to think about, like, okay, what we're going to do, how you're going to move and do things differently, and what do you want, right? So I think it's okay to think about that for this time of year, um, and it seems like our motivations are a little bit higher at the top of the year. Um, so I'm not mad at it, but it's not really like a new you as much as it's like, it's just like an ongoing, obviously, like you're just rolling into, a new time.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I think it's interesting because I never really feel like New Year's is a new year for me. I
Hmm.
don't know, it just doesn't feel like a restart. It's typically more around the Lunar New Year, like the Chinese New Year, that it actually kind of feels like a new year to me. But all of that to say, I've also been that person like, why wait? You can start today. But I think years are great to measure progress. Like it's easier to look at a data set within a confined set
Hmm.
of dates and
Hmm.
to look at time. And it's a great way to break up your year.
Hmm.
So that's kind of how I was thinking about it. It's like, man, like what do I want to leave behind? Kind of what am I looking forward to? And what, energy do I want to bring into this new time
Yeah.
zone?
I feel like this year it felt like New Year's right after the holiday because, and it was so funny because I was laughing at somebody tweeting like, I ain't took a bath since last year. And then the girl was like, yeah, not yet, big dog. Like, that don't make sense yet. You dirty as hell.
Yuck.
Um, but I don't, also maybe that's just because the weather, right? Like it in LA, it had been like really actually cold for once, and then all of a sudden it was like 80 degrees, like, that weekend. So it did feel kind of like refreshed in general. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say I don't care about the new year, but I am ready to kind of, get back into the mix, I think. I
Yeah.
feel a little bit
So
uncertain about a lot of things though, so I don't know about that, but we'll talk about it. That's what we're gonna get into.
Man, and what better place to start than with your favorite topic? Let's talk about that business, capitalized social.
That ain't
Like,
my favorite topic. Yeah, it is. Well, it's just
I'm
the
about
only
to say
topic that
it's
matters.
but look, but also I in planning this episode, I had that at the bottom. I was like, actually, let me put that at the top because that gets you talking more sometimes and it can open up into other stuff. So it's an easier segue into all the other topics.
Um, Business, yeah, because a lot of when you own a business, that kind of does frame a lot of other things
Hmm.
anyway for you. So, okay, so in regards to business for 2023, um, what I want out of this year, or what I saw a preview of last year, what I want out of this year for business is continued or more automation and
Mm,
more clients at a particular level. Um, so that I'd rather have a few big clients, big projects. Um, so that may be the obvious thing, but that's really I just want more of bigger clients. And I'm gonna for sure leave behind, hopefully, because I think money situations can put you in that space sometimes between that and wanting to help people. But I'm not gonna be so lenient anymore with, letting people slide. Like I have past clients who have not owe me stuff from April,
mm,
from April through the summer. That's a lot of money. And then when I'm trying to be more legitimized and keep my books together and stuff like that, it's like, all right, but try to do a good deed for folks, or let people kind of slide through, and then it's like, oh dang. So I literally am going into the new year with 3 people, 4 people owing me money, 3 or 4 people. So that kind of blows me a little bit, especially when, like, if there are times where you see it get low and then you're like, man, but if they had paid me. But also I do try to take a lot of the responsibility of like, all right, now, what am I gonna do different about this now? So that looks like added having added late fees, which I did towards the end of the year.
Mm,
So it's like at least, I'm gonna get a little something extra when somebody does pay if they pay late. Um, and also just being more strict on like, all right, you only going so far having not paid, and then it's like, well, we gotta pause and we're not gonna just keep doing stuff, hoping that you come around. So that's gonna change as far as just being more strict with the money and invoices. Um, and then what I want to do differently this year, which I started barely, like literally just trying to get into at the end of the year, but I'm going to get more into content and creating more content personally that I can actually like put out there more to get more eyes towards the business as well. So that's like me actually writing more case studies and more blogs and um, even on like TikTok or Twitter or whatever, just talking more about the work that I'm actually doing. So I'm going to try to do a little bit more of that and try to get back into like the flow I used to be in of being a little more present on social in a not educational way, but like in a like kind of
intentional.
get value way a little bit
Mm,
more. Yeah, because right now it's just like I just put things that might look nice or whatever, but I'm not really like trying to talk a whole lot. So that's what I'm gonna do a little different. Um, what do you want out of business this year, and which business? Because you have a few different things. So
yeah. First, I want to say, I'm excited about you using TikTok. I saw you follow me. I was like, oh, okay. She's
yeah,
starting to open it up.
I
I
just did my
see
first one the other day. So
Hey, I'm about to go
yesterday
check it out.
from us for doing this, but that's when I tweeted it too because I'm like, oh, I don't have no followers on TikTok yet, but on Twitter, it got like like 30 retweets already.
There you
Um,
go.
but what happened was that it was about Burbank Airport and how empty it was. And I think what it was is that as I was in there, I was like, "Yo, somebody needs to know that like there's literally nobody in here, like not a soul in there." And everybody during this time is talking about all the airlines and you're seeing all these lines and busyness and stuff. And so it just in my brain, I was like, "Nah, this is a good time to just go ahead and like let me do a few videos." And then as I was sitting at the gate for a minute, I was like, "Let me try to put something together real quick." That's just simple. Um, Instead of like, trying to overthink everything. So that's why, because I was just like, man, I should just do something of this. And so I just did it. So I think that's the biggest thing is like when, just doing things when you feel like doing it instead of trying to plan it too much and think too much. Cause
Mm,
that's gonna keep you from recording something every time if you're like really thinking that hard about it or, I'm not looking perfect right now or whatever else. So you just gotta get that stuff out there. Don't nobody care.
no, nobody care. And that's really kind of what one of the things that I enjoy about TikTok is it's less um not less curated, but less put together. Like it's not all about the aesthetics. Like a lot of the stuff that goes
Mhm.
viral is actually about the content or the person being funny or
Yeah.
whatever. It's not like necessarily how do they look or
Yeah.
did they spend all their time to get the perfect aesthetic. It's like, no, they just
Yeah.
posted the stuff.
But you also don't wanna be trying too hard either, so it's like, I don't know, I think it's like a good mix of, like, intention, but also, like, just, you actually just okay talking or looking however you look, so,
Hmm.
follow me
Um,
on TikTok, Lextopia.
there you go. Is it Lex underscore Topia like everything
Yep,
else? There you go.
same
Look, y'all
thing.
go ahead, go follow Lexi. I'm at holistically dope. And then at HEAUX underscore or period listic, it'll pop up. But at
Mhm.
holistic for
The
my
only thing in
self-care
my
content.
home feed is Carly's couch all over the place, so I'm like, "Alright, I gotta figure out, like, some people who to follow that I actually would wanna follow because everybody's stuff just
Yeah.
looks is just, like, out there to me."
I was about to say, yeah, you'll find it. The algorithm be working pretty good. But business wise, speaking about that, I want to grow both of my businesses actually. Um, so I want to grow my programming. So my business is programming and products. So I want to grow the holistically dope, which is the programming side and the product side. Specifically for programming, that looks like getting bigger corporate clients. I have two right now, but I want to get a couple more because right now I'm self-funding the product side of my business and I want that to start making more money.
Mhm.
Um, I did my product launches. I My goal was to sell a certain amount of relaxation boxes. I sold that, got those sent out,
Right.
getting some feedback and content back from those. Have a bunch of content ideas, and all my homies have been sending me stuff, so I'll start posting that stuff here pretty soon. Um, I want to leave behind stuff that I don't want to do and tasks that can be spent that my time can be spent better elsewhere. So getting that help to do the monotonous and the back end things so that I can focus more on the forefront of things. So I want to spend more time with biz dev and getting to a place where I can automate some of those things, but also hire people to help me spend more time doing the stuff I want to do, creating and doing things like that. So I guess in what am I doing differently? Producing more content, being more intentional about planning earlier instead of just always doing things on the fly. I think it's great that I'm able to do that and I'm like building this plane as I'm flying it. And also now it's like, okay, now that I have a plane that's semi floating, like I need to be able to steer it. And so I need to be able to
Mhm.
focus my attention there and not worry so much about the everyday things. So
Mhm.
work on expanding to that level.
Have you thought about or are there any analysis on what's the place where you would want to hire people first? Like to do what types of things? Like making product or like admin type stuff? Or
Admin type stuff because I want to have a real solid foundation before anything takes off too crazy. Because then that's how
mhm.
you get lost in the sauce. So admin stuff, making sure my back end stuff is good. I look up to you a lot for some of the foundation stuff I've seen you do over the years, like with all your manuals and making sure when people get hired, it's easier to
Mhm.
get them into certain places. So I need help getting all that stuff together.
Mhm. Yeah, you gotta as you're doing things, you just like write down what you're doing. But that can start with just like what's the actual task too, you know? Um and then like fleshing out the process behind the task and all of that too. I think for me the best thing was hiring like that first virtual assistant. Um and then it's so funny now because the one I have now, shout out B Priest, she's not even my assistant anymore. She's actually like operations manager. But when she came in, it was like, she kind of just help with things in general, but then like one good solid person who really like it feels good now that the people who work with me like actually know the business. So it's not like, they're just doing a task here and there, but they could
Hmm.
sell it or they could tell people about it. And so she knows so much now. I'll be like, oh, okay, you can actually do a lot of things.
Hmm.
Just from having like one good person with you like for a while and letting them kind of even tell you what you need to create or do. Cause she done made spreadsheets and all kind of different things that I wasn't even thinking about myself. So, um, yeah, as long as you got like some beginning stuff for them to start doing, you can get a virtual assistant and you can get whether it's somebody in the Philippines for $2 or somebody in Ohio for $8 or more, whatever it is. But it depends on what you need them to do. Yeah, but that's something I recommend to anybody to start doing for sure.
Yeah.
See if that would be
Um,
helpful.
yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that.
What about in the area of like mental health? Is there anything specific that you're thinking about for 2023?
Yeah, actually, it's well, I don't know if I have like a goal of what I want out of my mental health. I feel like I'm tracking pretty well. Like that's always growing. I feel more grounded and stable, and like I have the toolkit to do all the things that I need to do. Like my mental fortitude is great. But it's gotten so good to the point where I feel like I don't need therapy every week right now.
Mhm.
So I'm actually transitioning. Right now it'll be biweekly, but then eventually it'll be monthly. And I feel like that's a big growth point for me because for a while, I did like to have it every week. And even if I didn't, it was good to know I had it just in case I needed it. We could just
Mhm.
do a quick check-in. But now, yeah, I don't necessarily think I need it every week anymore, which is like I said, a very great growth point for me. Not to say like it's a competition or you should like try to work to not have it because I think therapy will be something that's always in my life. But I've been doing so much work and had so much focus in those areas of my life that I feel like I'm at a good strong point and
Yeah.
looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's good. Is there anything that you want to see different though this year as far as maybe things you struggle with mentally or
Um,
anything you still want to try to conquer?
as I said, no, but I mean I can kind of I guess for me, if I'm thinking mental, maybe that's not in this category, but I just love learning new things and so maybe just continue maybe not differently, I was about to say just continue exploring and doing all the things that
Mhm.
I wanna do. Yeah, not really anything different here, which is kinda interesting.
Yeah,
Do
well
you?
that's good. I similarly I have and maybe this is kind of what you were saying too, but the way I would describe it for me is that I have a working process now. So it's like of how to deal with things a little bit better and or how to break things down, and think about what what led me here or, like the toolkit as you would say. Like so I feel like
Mhm.
I have a good toolkit now. I haven't been in therapy for months now, but mostly that's because my therapist is kind of like on maternal leave. But also like the last I kind of talked to her too, she was like, "Oh, okay, you're kind of doing all right. So, just hit me if you need anything," type thing. Um, so with my mental health, I think, but what I want out of this year is now, I think I've come out of a place of having to, not like I'm never gonna have anxiety, but like anxiety is not the main issue anymore, right? For me.
Mm.
And one thing it was so interesting and refreshing to that I just noticed this like maybe a week or so ago because I was searching on Twitter. I was looking for something I know I had tweeted before. And I don't remember what words I put in there. Maybe I put in anxiety in my username or something. But then I was looking at a lot of the tweets that popped up, and it was like 2017-ish. And I was like, dang, I was really struggling. Like, so to see like what I would talk about in regards to it. And like, I remember that a time, and you might remember too, because used to talk about it on here, and I probably talked to you about it. But like, I wake up and like my chest be hurting, and like, just feel
Mhm.
real tight, and like the anxiety of a lot of things, right? Work and all of that, and I noticed how, like, all of a sudden, I'm like, yeah, I do not do that anymore. Like, I don't have those issues like that. When I start to feel anxious, like I can easily kind of maneuver it. So I just started thinking like, wow, like, your issues do kind of change or they go away. Then I started trying to think about what makes that, different, right? Because I feel so much more calm now in general. So and again, all that to say, what I want to get out of this year mentally is instead of it's like dealing with those things, what I want to move into now is just more mental fortitude and like just
Mhm.
a stronger now of using this space I have now, right? Like if I have less fog or less stress, worry, whatever, now I want to feel stronger to like attack things a little more, be more proactive about stuff, and take advantage of being in a space where I thought probably can be a little more effective. Um, with that. So that's what I would say for that. And differently is just I do need to kind of tighten up on my meditation practice because I
Mm.
it is helpful every time I do it, and it's still something I don't quite always consistently make time for. But I do want to tighten that up. So um, yeah, so that's it for me mentally. I've noticed a lot of things have changed from the anxiety to not knowing how I feel and not even having feeling like I have emotions to like now I sit with them all the time. Like I cry so much and like, just feel so many things and think about it and all of that. So all of those things have changed and so I'm really glad for that, which makes everything else we're talking about, not easier, but it kind of changes how I'm looking at like how I approach business, the physical, emotional stuff, social, my relationships, all that too. So that is at a really good foundation. I'm glad I've spent a lot of time, in that mental health space to kind of think about those things.
That is so awesome to hear, and I do remember it when you used to have, that on your chest and
Hmm.
and
Like a
struggle
lot
with,
of
like,
physical.
yeah, like, manifestations of, like, the mental health and the
Mm.
emotional, like, things, going on. So it's always so beautiful to see growth, and it's like in the moment, you don't really see it, it's only when you look back or kinda
Hmm.
remember like, "Oh, dang, how things used to be," or,
Yeah.
kinda what you used to
So I'm
struggle
glad
with.
I journal and talk about certain things or in this instance, like tweeting about certain things. But even journaling, like if you ever like look at your journal, especially when you was writing about a relationship or something, you'd be like, girl, like this shit is so stupid. But it's always interesting to see how things have changed. So that's one reason why I like for sure recommend journaling and writing things down in a space where you can, always be able to look back and see. And then you immediately kind of feel gratitude or peace or whatever with the space you're in now because you know better, you know different.
Mhm. And I like how you talked about everything being interconnected because it really is holistic and working
Mhm.
on, all these areas simultaneously like helps each area so much. This next one, so physically, man, I saw your tweet about was it same animal, different beast? I'm trying to hear about your physical goals for 2023. Like what are
Yeah,
you
so what I want out of this year is, because 'cause I'm so tired of, like, every night, and it's only every night after the day's ended and you in chill mode and you not doing nothing, like, when you're a slob and, like, or let me say me, I'm just, like, watching TV and eating chips or whatever, um, and it's always I notice, like, in the same kind of blah space, I'm always like, "Man, I need to be moving more, I need to be doing this and that," or, like, I'll look and be like, "I don't like how my stomach feeling right now." Um, so I really out of 2023, I wanna get back to my 2019 form, 2018, 2019 form. I want to, um, be my, like, most toned self and skinny and sexy, and I wanna get back to, just being super tight with it. So I'm already doing tennis a couple times a week. Pilates, I kind of have slowed down just over with the holidays and stuff, but trying to do that a few times. I have unlimited for that. But I think it is still I'm missing like my actual training. Like I could tell the difference in that.
Mhm.
Like actually just like sucking it all in tight. And I think, and also what it is too is that even with my tennis, I got to a point where it's like, okay, cool. Like my fundamentals look okay, but at this point now, it's just like actually being good and like being able to run, have the stamina, be explosive and all those things to actually be able to play for real. And so now I'm getting to the point because I'm so tired of my coach calling me lazy now because I'm like, this is as fast as I can ride. Like I don't know what you want me to say, but I notice like, and this kind of goes also to mental too. But like, but then if I'm like, all right, bet, and like I just like do a little bit more, like I can do more. But I think that that made me think that back to like gym type training would be more helpful also for like the other thing like for tennis, so I can actually see some more improvement instead of just kind of being at like a casual space.
Mhm.
So I want that to kind of make me look better, to help me play better. And I think all of that will really, just strengthen me. And I'm at a space now too. I think maybe last year is really like the first year I was like I really actually like working out and doing the things. Um, so yeah, I'm a holler at my old trainer and see because I'm really not into like 5 a.m. sessions and stuff anymore. But I don't know. Maybe we gonna just see what happens. Um,
Look,
but yeah, this year I think I just wanna every day do something.
look, and whenever you're ready to do those explosion drills, I got you, bruh. And if you don't do
Yeah.
them me, you can do them from TikTok because them coaches be posting that stuff.
Yeah, but I don't do things off of like that. I can't work I don't work out without somebody telling me to do something.
Mm,
So and then maybe that's my thing too, right? It's like with other things like I have like the self motivation with that. I'm not really like I'm not that pressed to do it, but I know that if I make a decision to pay for something or to like, go do it, then I'm gonna do it. Um, so that's just how I have to operate.
nah, and that's good that you know yourself like that. But I'm for real. I do coach some of those things. So if you're looking for
Oh
that, let's make it happen. Maybe we could do an episode of me coaching Lexi do something. But
my god.
for me physically, I feel like 2022 was a great year. I'm the strongest I've ever been. I just feel good. Like I've been working on my
Mhm,
mobility and on my joints. I've always lifted and done yoga and stuff, but I feel like this year my knowledge really leveled up and so did my training. And so my body is there. Um, but I want to learn even more and take it even to the next level. And so I'm actually getting a trainer, which I don't need the motivation. I'm not that person. I can go work out by myself. It don't matter. Like anywhere, anytime, whatever. It's not that, but it's like for me, I know I'm a trainer, but I also know I don't know everything. And so I'm looking at people who have trained people in the body type that I have and the shape that I want. And I'm like, okay, I'm
mhm,
getting there, but like what am I missing? Like what else can I learn? And so actually already signed up with a trainer for the beginning of the year to get me right. I also was a lot more mindful with nutrition to see how foods actually affect me because I know how to eat healthy. I used to have a meal prep business. That's not hard. But what I've never done is like did a clean house diet, which means you take everything out of your diet and you eat like
Mhm.
raw for a little bit, then vegan for a little bit, and you slowly trickle things back into your diet to see how they affect your body. So it's like taking like the allergen test, but a step further and actually just doing it with the food to see how things affect you. And now that I know, certain things don't feel as good in my body and certain things do better, and I'm taking herbs, it's like, oh, I can really start to optimize everything I've been doing for a long time. Because I
Mhm.
feel like it's easy for trainers because like when you train people, a lot of time that's what your time goes towards is other people. So you don't really have as much for yourself, or it's not a focus or not the thing. And I'm like, nah, I want to be my best self for me. So that's gonna be my forefront. And that would just improve anything else that happens. So um I'm leaving behind like my some of the diets and foods and stuff I know. Like I'll never not eat sweets or not eat things. I believe in moderation. But being a lot more disciplined with stuff, changing my diet, actually hiring somebody. And yeah, we'll check back in a few months and see how that's going.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned nutrition. That's super important, and that's where I'm the worst with my diet and nutrition. So like I can do all the working out, but I know if I ate better, it would be different as well. But that's I don't know why that's just something harder for me. I'm gonna try for January. I think to try to cut sugar. And sugar is the
Mm,
only thing that I try to do, like, I'm not gonna do for a month, and I never, like, pass. I can do alcohol easily,
yeah.
some other things I can kinda do easily. I think sugar is just so, like it's so instinctive that it's always like I'm like, "Oh, dang, like, I done ordered this cheesesteak, and I forgot I wasn't supposed to be doing it," you know? Like, it's hard for me to even, like, remember it. But I wonder if even something like that could be such a big key in, everything else not being so wild if you just like cut out the right thing that you're doing too much of. So I think I will go for that for January.
Oh, 100%. And sugar is like one of the biggest demons of them all when it comes
Mhm.
to like cravings for anything else and metabolism and sugar spiking and insulin and all that
Yeah.
and energy, feeling blah. A lot of that is
And
sugar.
yeah, and anything like I feel like if you could feel like calling you or like you need it or want it, like it's like, all right, like it's too much going on right here. So usually when I've tried to do it before, I'll just say like, um, to try to, like, make it kinda realistic also, I'll be like, "Okay, exempt is my, like, coffee creamer." 'Cause I'm like, "Alright, Imma drink a coffee in the morning." And I will exempt, like, fruits, juices, and stuff like
Mhm.
that,
Mhm.
but, like, straight up I think how did I try to describe last time? I was like, anything that's like a straight up, like, I know this is a dessert.
Processed
Um,
sugar.
yeah, and, I think that was it. But, like, just yeah, anything that's, like, a processed sugar is, like, what Imma try to not mess with. So, we'll see if I can get that done.
Look, you got it. Freeze some grapes. Yeah, start trying different fruits. That really
Mm,
helped me cut it when I was like when I went raw. I had to have all kind of random fruits and things in there, the
mhm.
pears and peaches and random shit to try
Yeah,
to
like, I
help.
started getting, like, acai bowls instead of, like, delivering ice cream, which getting ice cream delivery is so nasty, dog. That's such nasty business. Like, why am I spending $40 on Uber Eats
On a
for a scoop? It's like, I need no decency, but no. Um, so yeah, stuff like that is, like, where I would notice, like, alright, I could just make a slightly smarter decision because acai bowl still has sugar that they put in it, but it's still, not as crazy. Um all right, I'm trying to get pictures out there. I'm trying to have everybody like, dang, like,
same. Look,
like
same.
that's it. Like, I just want, dang, she doing
Look,
something over
34
there.
is coming for y'all, just so you know. When I drop them, remember I told you it was gonna
Hey,
happen.
I'm gonna be 38 in a month, Playboy. So
Gang, gang.
yeah, I gotta start keeping like your skin tight. You start noticing things like, all right, I need to make
Mm,
sure we're drinking a lot of water and doing the right things. But it's that diet that's hard for me.
mm.
Um, so we will see. What about the emotion, and different from mentally, like, emotionally, um, what do you have planned for the year ahead?
Um, one thing, and it's like I haven't really like sat down and pondered. Like I guess I don't know. I've never sat and been like, emotionally, what would I like from this year? But what I will say, from some discussions and some life happenings and things, I want to work on processing anger more healthily. I don't think that I do a great job, or I haven't I'm not as good at processing, anger when it comes to people and situations, like, I'll either blow up or I'll shut down, and that's not really healthy necessarily, and I noticed I was doing that, just because the end of the year got really wild for me,
Mhm.
and I just caught myself in a few situations, and I was like, "Why am I so upset or resentful right now?" It's like, "Oh, girl, you didn't say something, you should have," or,
Mhm.
wanting to blow up on somebody, and it's like, it's okay to have these discussions and for people to be disappointed and okay, and so one thing I envision for my year is to have a better balance of anger. I feel like I'm either hot or cold, and it's okay to sometimes be in the middle of that. So practicing that in my relationships and conversations and with what's going on. And then also doing better with journaling. And I put that with emotional because most of mine is emotional. Like, yeah, it's a part mental, but write a lot about my feelings. I have lots of feelings,
Mhm.
and I feel like I've been avoiding it. Journaling. I was like, I know I need to do it. We tell people to do it on the podcast. I tell clients to do it. My therapist be talking about it, but I haven't really put a pen to paper in a minute. So,
Yeah, I feel like I find I only journal when I'm, like, feeling a certain way, and then I'll journal,
mhm.
which is why it's always funny when you look back because 'cause you're like, "This is so dramatic," because that's the only time you really, like, write, which I don't know, I think that's fine, though. Um, is that it for you on that before I go
um,
into
Yeah, I was say because the rest of it is similar to what we talked about with mental. Like I feel like
Mhm.
all the work I've done, like this toolkit that I've built my routine really allows me to be in control of my emotions. Not to say you can't feel them and they can't explode, nothing like that. I feel my emotions, then I let them pass. But I feel like I've been in a pretty great place. The only one that to me is like a little blinking light is the anger. Like I want to work on, like I notice an inconsistency and I notice um, a discomfort there, and I want to improve on that, to let that flow better. So yeah, that's probably the only
Mhm.
one.
Well, in regards to emotions and, emotionally, what I want out of 2023 for me is just, like, an ongoing, continued progress. Because like, for people who've been listening for a few years, like, I didn't know what I was feeling and didn't know how to name the emotions or process them or whatever, and now that's, like, really fun to me, actually, when I do feel some kind of way to think about, like, "What is this?" and where is it coming from, and write about it or process it or let myself feel it. In um, in 2023, I think that's just something I continue to do. And with emotions and the mental kind of together, continuing to just be true to myself. So like to make sure that I am reacting and responding and acting from a place of how I really feel,
Hmm.
and expressing it instead of like if I'm holding things in, which I don't think I've really been doing too much of. The only thing I've been dealing with it has been a lot of anger, but it oscillates between like anger and sadness. But it's also in like a space that I can't really like do anything about. Like that whether it's like uh, people who are like no longer in your life or situations that are past or whatever,
Mm,
but it kind of comes up every once in a while, and it's like, well, I in those times I tend to view that the same way as grief. Um, if all of a sudden I feel like angry about something that's like from the past, um, and then I just kind of sit with it and process it, and then it's usually like okay, so I think I've been doing really good with that, and just looking forward to seeing the fruits of being kind of emotionally responsible within like the things that I'm dealing with, our relationships, etc.
man, that's been so cool. To talk through all these things on the podcast and like being your friend and just seeing all the growth and stuff over the years, like my personal stuff too. But for everybody in my life is so beautiful to
Hmm.
see them have a healthy relationship with emotions, and we all out here growing up a little bit. Um,
I know, yeah. It's so funny because like I didn't. You go from like not even realizing that that's a thing to like, oh man, and now like really like embracing it, and seeing how there are these different spaces that if you improve them or if you pay attention to them, you can see like how it can really actually affect your life. So that is really cool.
mhm. For socially, we kind of already had a whole episode, but is there
Hmm.
anything you want to do differently? Or like, what do you want out of this year? And maybe like a quick.
I think that's a
succinctly?
continuation too from, like, towards, the end of last year. I'm just starting to be out a little bit more. I do wanna be out a little bit more in, like, strategic places and with strategic people and, um, kinda more on, like, a networking, but fun, like, not necessarily, like, straight business, but I just wanna get out a little bit more, this year, so that's kinda it for me.
For sure. I about to say I definitely want to be around people more, both in like being out, but also just spending more time with people that I love.
Mhm,
But we have a
mhm.
whole episode on that. If y'all have not listened to it, go back. The streets are calling, so go ahead and go answer that call.
What about spiritually? Do you have any, particular things you wanna do differently this year when it comes to your spirituality?
The only thing I know that is on my horizon, and I wanted to do it this year, I think, is to do the transcendental meditation training. I want to do that for
Mhm,
me so I can deepen my relationship with meditation. I feel like I'm in such a good place. I've been consistently meditating like 99%, like mostly every day for like, I don't know, months. Like I stopped counting because it got so high. I was like, oh, this is just a part of my routine now. This is awesome. And now I want to kind of level it up and understand different types of meditation and kind of explore other ways to do that, and so that's pretty much what I wanna try this year. Do you have anything, like,
mhm.
spiritually?
Um, probably, like I said, with the continuing the meditation, because now that I've also started incorporating the 6 step mindset, what is it called? 6 step mindset.
Mindset?
What is the name of his? I forgot the exact name of like his meditation, but that one is good because it's more of like a visualization and a guide. So
Mhm.
you go through like feeling you feel and see the things that you want to feel and see, and I think that makes a lot of big difference for like the first meditation you do during the day, so where that second one, because in transcendental meditation they teach you to do twice a day. So now I want to do that in the afternoon one though, because that one's the one where it's silent, you repeat your sound, um, and you're kind of letting your body rest. And that first one is like a visualization almost for the day. So
Mm.
you're thinking in that first one more about like feelings of compassion, and then you go into um, like forgiveness. So it brings up a lot of different emotions and stuff too, because you like have to see somebody and like read them their charge and like how does that feel? How do you feel with that? And then like hugging them and like getting past certain things,
Mm.
visualizing how you want your day to look is a piece in there about your day, about what you want for your whole life, like how does your life look, um, and then it ends with like a blessing for the day. So I like that one for keeping the visualization in the forefront of like what do you actually kind of want to do, um, and that one is good too because it helps me realize on the days, like in the past week, for example, we were like on the holidays and it's like not I'm not really working. It's kinda like I wake up like, "Dang, I don't really have no plan." So it kinda does feel kinda whack, but I guess you could even have a plan for, like, what you wanna do with your day, even if it's just chill, but, um, just like when we talk about, like, using a planner or using a calendar to do that type of a meditation kind of brings to your forefront, like, "Okay, so what do I want today or out of my life or out of whatever?" So I like that, and I'm just gonna try to focus on that a little bit more, um because I think that both of those contain all the aspects of spirituality that I would be kind of looking for, as well as like conversations and some of the social stuff with friends on a particular level where you're just being kind of open.
Mhm. Man, I forgot that I had, downloaded that book. I totally forgot until you said it, I was like, "Damn, I need to read that
Hmm.
whole." So that's also on my list. Um, but I also love, to your point, the conversation with friends and stuff. I feel whenever, like attracts like, and the energy that you are putting out, you attract your people, and then you just have those beautiful conversations that help you grow, that help you stay grounded, that help you
Hmm.
learn and challenge you
Yeah,
and stuff. And so
yeah,
definitely want to continue on that path.
and you can
This next
download the Mind Valley app too. On
Mhm.
the Mind Valley app, they have it's in there and it's free. Like the that actual meditation. It's just that the book, like, it just tells you the why behind every section and,
Yeah.
gives you a little bit more. But you kind of got to prep for it because it's like before you do the meditation, like you got to think about like what things am I grateful for in my personal life, my work life, and my this life. Would that happen recently? So it's like it makes you like really think about what's the intention before you have to do that meditation.
Oh,
But
that's
it's on
good.
there
I
for
can
free.
get that. Okay, Imma download that too. Yeah, download that
Mhm.
if you don't know what we're talking about. The guided 6-phase meditation. His name
Mhm.
is Vishen, I think,
Yeah,
or Vishen Lakhani.
Vishen,
Let me not mispronounce this
girl,
man's name.
it's something like that though.
Vishen, yeah, Lakiani.
But the cool thing about the Mind Valley app too is like I don't pay for it, but if you pay for it, there's like everybody doing all these different seminars, and it's like a social media almost kind of like
Oh,
community of
interesting.
people there. But I only downloaded just to be able to listen to because it's a guided thing, like to listen to the prompts for the meditation really.
Oh, wow. Okay, done. Downloaded. Um, so the next one is one of your favorites. What about travel? What you got? Like, what is your vision for this year for
Mm.
travel?
So the thing I want to do differently this year is I do think I want to do a month abroad.
Yes.
I want to find a month and it's looking like it might be like a June or July type vibe. And work and like do all the regular things, but just be somewhere else. Outside of that, um, nothing too different. Still want to try to get away every few weeks or so, at least once a month, like a different city. And then on a bigger trip, maybe at least every quarter. That is something I've been thinking about is doing the month somewhere to where I can just pay my
Mhm.
rent and then probably do like an Airbnb or something that will be for the month. What
Bomb.
about for
Look,
you?
let Amber know she got you. Hit the lit house. Same. I got my passport back. If y'all do not know, you can refresh. You can whatever yours online. Renew. There we go. That's the word. Renew yours online now. So much easier. And I did take my own picture on my phone, so you can do that too. It
That's
looks
what I
clear
should have
enough.
did.
Girl, because I had already went before I thought I was gonna renew in person, so I had printed off the thing. And then when I tried to take a picture of a picture, it would never pass. So I just did my own picture and it worked. So y'all can do
I
that.
went
But I'm
I went and got one taken, but then, it had a certain amount of space around. I was like, "Oh, this looks good." And then when they sent me my passport back, it was like they done zoomed all in. So it's like right
right
here. I'm
here.
like, I was like, "Bro, why was this like right here?" I'm like, "Man, never mind. Just whatever.
It don't even matter. They be looking at us crazy in the airports
Whatever."
anyways. I just want to travel. I feel like I haven't really traveled too much. I've only had one big trip since COVID and come home to Oklahoma. Like I've only went to
Mhm.
Tulum and then like in the past 3 years and then came really to Oklahoma and different cities in California, which I do like the local trips. So I'm gonna do some of those too. Like the little staycations are cute.
You
But I
didn't do any
really
international trips in 2022?
no,
Mhm.
because I didn't have a
What I
passport.
do?
My passport
Oh,
was
that
not
whole time?
renewed. And I
Oh.
didn't realize because I was gonna plan something, but it was out since like March, and I like didn't think about it because we haven't been really traveling. So
Mm.
your girl
Yeah,
was
no, mine's
real local,
extensive.
and that's new
Not
for
real
me.
local.
But I thought about it
Well,
because I was talking to somebody, and my last big trip was to Argentina and Brazil, and that whole was
mhm.
fire. So I'm like, oh, I need to get back.
Yeah, I always keep a list. Well, as of 21 and 22 of all my trips, I think I did like 20 something spaces this year or last year, 2022. My only international ones
London.
were Mexico, yep, London and St. Lucia. And the rest were kind of just all over different cities and stuff. But those weekend cities are pretty fun. I already have a trip planned, my first trip planned for 2023 in January, going to Seattle for a weekend, and then
Ooh,
in February, I think I will do Bora Bora because I found a flight that's like 500 some dollars. So we'll see.
bringing in
Soon as
38 on
these
the
checks
beach, baby.
clear, come on. That's why I was like, that was a little motivation too to like work out and stuff
Uh
because I
huh.
know my birthday's like at the top of the year, so it's like let me try to do a little something real
And
quick.
see, it look, hold on. It's harder because mine is at the end by all the holidays. My birthday has the
Yeah.
nerve to be after Thanksgiving and right before Christmas.
Yeah, yeah, you might be a little bloated, but also you got the whole year to get it together. So,
Yeah, that's true. That's
because
true.
with mine, I always like get real extra in January, but like that ain't really enough time either. So like I don't be looking right till March, March, April, but
Well,
it's the thought
look,
that counts.
we on that. And I'm excited about the travel and the trips. Like the weekend trip we did was good. So I'm just looking forward
Hmm.
to exploring New Orleans. You are on my list. Nola, I will see you soon. New York, I
Yeah, that's an
haven't
easy one too.
oh my God, I haven't been there in a long time. Best friend lives in Brooklyn. I got a place to stay. About to pop
Hmm.
up on them.
Yeah, you just
Um,
gotta start just getting tickets and like. just dipping out.
Mhm. And then the last topic, when thinking about your new year and kind of what you want out of it and what you can do differently is everybody's typical favorite one to like listen to podcasts about, and that's love and relationships. So
Hmm.
what do you want out of this year for
Um,
love and relationships?
uh, this, um, this year, I I don't know it's so hard to like try to put times, just this kind of stuff because I just don't want to press about times, but I would like to um I would like to be in love or like be sparked, I think.
Mm,
Again maybe this year, but last time that happened, it was like an 8-year gap, so I don't know how long that's gonna take, because I'm dating now, but also, I always am kinda still, like, questioning, like, "Is this like, am I wasting my time? Am I doing this stuff 'cause it's something to do?" And I don't really like that feeling, so when it comes to, like, love and relationships, what I desire is to be, in a loving relationship, especially with somebody, like, I can have a lot of adventures with and, be able to talk to and communicate with and all of that, um but I think my main focus though is around like being out in certain spaces more that I want to be in and need to be in so I can like kind of be meeting and talking to people. And then we'll kind of see what happens there. But like at this point, I know like what I want out of love and relationships, and it's just a matter of um, I don't know. I think kind of like feeling that a little bit of that spark, or dating somebody that I really like feel like I actually want to uh, do that, at a in a bigger version because it's easy to go hang out with people and stuff, but then when it's like, do I want to bring them out around my friends? Do I want to like do all that?
mhm.
Like, I don't know about all that yet. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's real.
I have
Anything
people
you're
who saying they want to step up and do some things, but we'll see because I don't know.
look, we will see. We'll see what happens. Is there anything you want to do differently with that though?
Um, well, what I have been doing for sure differently than with like my last relationship in general, and I guess this is what I learned out of it, is just being more open, more vulnerable. That's all. That's been like kind of actually a lot more fun lately. Like, just like saying how I feel and people actually responding differently and actually being feeling like I have more of a safe space in 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 that, I guess. So we'll keep
Mhm.
doing that.
Aw, I'm so excited, and let's see who step up, player, because she is coming with the body and the business, and look,
Right,
the
I'm definitely
spiritual
about to be out here.
elevation.
I don't the
You know what I'm
problem
saying?
what really is that I finally got this new phone, so, like, now my pictures with Chris, I'm like, "Oh, look, I actually look kinda cute in these pictures," so, but let me
And she
post up a
still ain't
little
got no case
more.
on that hoe either.
No, sure don't. Sure
Out here
don't.
living wild.
I got mm.
Hey, the shout out to the new phone. Yeah, these hoes are nice. My videos, little cinematic joints be fire
Yes,
with my
extra crisp.
products.
So
Oh my
now, yeah, I
god,
started to follow more, of those accounts on Instagram that show you, like, how to take pictures better
hoes.
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we should get one of the guys I follow on TikTok. He's actually in Eagle Rock. His name is David Suh. It's an Asian
Mhm.
dude. He's so cool. But I've been following him on how to pose and like,
Mhm.
just been playing with it. And it feels so good to like see yourself and be like, oh, okay. Like,
Yeah. Well, you got a little action now.
yeah. Um,
What about you? What does 2023 look like for love and relationships?
growth and expansion. Dating somebody who was really cool, but I would say like it's probably my first real reciprocal relationship, like adult relationship in the sense of both invested in our own like personal growth and things, but also in each other and someone who I would say is able to mirror back things to me that I can work on and heal and in the same way. So just continuing to do that. What I'd like to see though is expand that into trips and new experiences for us because it's like we've kind of found a groove with things, but just continue growth and expansion personally and
Mhm.
with the other person. I don't really know what that looks like. But I will do differently is I'm getting better at it, but kind of similar to what you said about like asking for what I want or um voicing discomfort or things sooner and just having those vulnerable conversations. I did pretty good this year, but always room for improvement on those things.
Mhm.
But asking for what you want is so amazing when you do that that you actually get it. And it's like, why didn't I do this sooner? Like we would have. All right, cool.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. All right. So for all of our listeners, definitely want you to think about what you want out of 2023 for business, your mental health, physical health, emotional, social, spiritual, and your travel, life, and love and relationships. So hopefully it's something that you're thinking about as we go into the new year. Um, but like we said, we always every year it's like sometimes it feels like you're saying the same thing. So like, do you feel like these are the same things that you were thinking at the beginning of last year, or a little bit different?
Um, I would say like 30/70, same, different. So the same 30 is like I'm always like, oh, I want to do this better with my business. And I want to hire an
Mhm.
assistant. I've been saying that for years. Y'all been listening on the podcast. Yeah, my bad, dog. It's gonna happen this year for real. Um, I would say also like mentally and emotionally, I'm just more stable and grounded than I have been. Like all the work has been working. And so a lot of the things I probably wanted then, I don't have issues. I remember one of our New Year's episodes, I was talking about how I want to be bolder and do things. And now I
Mhm.
don't even think about it. I'm literally just doing them all the time. And it's not a thing. So it's
Yeah.
cool to notice that growth. But definitely the business stuff, a lot of that is the same about trying to get my back end together and working on that. But
Yeah.
a lot of it's different, which is refreshing. I'm real glad. Like when I saw this question, I was like, oh Lord, let me not be that person that is trying to do the same thing every year. But shout out to you if you are and you trying and working on it. But
Yeah. I mean,
what
that's why I
about
thought
you?
about it because not in regards to resolutions, but like um what is something that you be saying? Sometimes I feel like every week it's like uh no, still take it, do self love or like it's like certain things that's like all right, like how long you gotta say the same thing? Like, but that's an ongoing process. So like I think it's important to realize like all of this stuff is ongoing. But if you could think about the details of it, like and so like even in this episode, how some of the details have changed and things that we don't necessarily have to deal with anymore or what we want to specifically look at. I think that's what makes the difference. Um, the same guy who does the 6 step mindset meditation, one of the things he says, I'm like, man, that is kind of true. Is like that we grossly like overestimate what we can get done in a year, but we
Oh my
underestimate
God.
what we can get done in 3 years. And he's like, 3 years is like a lot of things really can like change. So even with when you're thinking about like your vision, and that's why when I wrote like my manifesto I did for 2025, because like it may seem weird to be like, oh, next year I want to do, a million, all these things. And it's like, but, I think we think we're going to do so much in a year. But within the 3 years, it's like actually a lot can really, really, really happen. Especially if you just think about your last 3 years and how much things may have changed. I think all of my things are different or they're like a little more fine tuned. Because even with my business stuff, it's kind of less about like trying to do the things. I just need to yeah, I'm just kind of in a space of action and like just bringing in more and doing more. So everything is, I feel like, is leveling up in a great way. Which, like we said in the middle of this too, like it all builds upon each other, right? Like if you're mentally feel good, if you look good, if you're when you have money in your pocket, like that stuff kind of makes it easier to be in relationships. Unfortunately, like I
Yeah,
don't.
it
Maybe
does.
it shouldn't all depend on all these things, but like and maybe that's one thing I need to change. I don't know where that goes in the categories, but I I don't know if this could change. Like it's like a society thing, but for sure, like as soon as something ain't right with your money, like everything else is like, damn, your mental health go immediately in the trash. Like
Mhm.
you in the bed,
Mhm.
like damn, like so. I don't know if that means like I'm tying everything to certain things still because I do keep reminding myself, even for me, when I say like my money is low and air quotes now, it ain't the same as when I said that a few years ago. So like I'm like, okay, like Lex, you actually do like have some money. Like it's not like, at dire straits or anything, but it does feel different. So um maybe that's the only other thing I would maybe add into the spiritual and mental part is like trying to disconnect, my well-being from like certain tactical things.
Mhm.
But yeah, everything I think is an ongoing progression and level up. So I don't feel like I'm trying to do the same things at all. I'm just able to now see like, okay, these things happen, so now this is what needs to maybe be a little different or where I need to focus.
Yeah, and that's such a beautiful place to be. So think about all these areas. I would add financially, think about those two. Hit us at Carly's couch
Oh
and let
yeah,
us
we should have
know.
had that in there actually.
Look, you wanna hold on, go ahead. You wanna throw out here what you want
Because
for
you're right,
2023 financially?
financial. Oh man, so financially, I want I want to make a certain amount. So I definitely think I could bring in like 1 million
Let's
this
get it.
year. But what I want to do differently, because at the end of the year, I made a budget and then I look at it for December like I should have. So I looked at my spending actually is what I should say to see like, all right, what am I spending on? And it's so funny because I spend the most on fitness and food. So um yeah, that $40 deliver ice cream start adding up.
That starts to
Um
add up.
but it actually wasn't as crazy as I thought. The problem or the thing is that I'm not spending a crazy amount, but also I'm not doing the adult things like, I didn't have to deal with like car insurance and different things like that, right? Like certain bills. So I want to be more financially responsible in doing like taking care of the things I need to take care of, like the adult things. Um and yeah, just actually follow a budget there.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna
that's
try to
a
do that.
look. We gonna check back in and see how that's going. Shout out to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I say I know that credit score went up this year, so I'm excited to see what 2023 brings for
Yeah,
you.
but then something brought it back down a little bit. So I was like, God dang. It's like grades. Like it could come down so fast, but like it barely goes up like with stuff. So I'm like,
It's
all right, now I have this other thing I gotta pay for and make sure that's not slipping. Cause I'm like, okay.
I'm about to say, and y'all know how I feel about it. That stuff is probably younger than some of us and still controls a whole bunch of life. So it's all nonsense.
Right.
It's the matrix. So financially for me, mad peace, bro. I want to make a lot more money this year. Um, and also improve my British accent, but a lot more bread, but I have a plan instead of just like, yeah, I'm gonna make this. It's like, no, actually, I know
Mhm.
that if I have secured these clients and I know what I need to do to like get the other ones, like I'm excited. My business has been growing, so I'm like my product side, so I'm looking to continue growing that. And doing differently, I'd like to pay down all my credit card debt early, not the whole year, but like the first half of the year, just be done with all that
Mhm.
nonsense too.
I would like to get approved for some credit.
Real
I can
AF.
get my stuff together.
Yeah. So
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. We
glad.
can't
Yeah,
forget that.
I thought about that. I was like, yeah, we can't forget the bread because that
Mm.
matters. Whether we like it or not, even though money's energy. So
Mhm.
I'm make it
Mhm.
real fun for money to come hang out with me. Uh, we don't have a shout out this week, but shout out to y'all for making it to another year. And wanting to do better. That's why y'all still here listening. Hit us at Carly Couch. Let us know how you doing, what you working on, what's your vision. And then the question of the week, I actually have a really funny story, but I'm gonna ask the question first. Is Lexi, what's the most unique thing you've ever eaten?
Unique. Um,
Or like a delicacy from somewhere else that might be
I
considered
think
weird.
we
I don't want to
asked
call things weird.
before. I don't know. The first
Oh,
thing that
maybe
pops
we
up
have.
is the first, yeah, because I think I thought about eating those cow brains before.
Chapeau. Oh, cow brains.
Yeah, I think I would say cow brains or it's a few things, but it's just different parts of the body like that.
Well
Cow
then,
brains, sheep
well then
tongue,
maybe
but that's a
maybe
regular meal.
I was gonna say maybe I'll change the question then and say
Crickets.
like where you're from, is there something weird that people eat that you like ate growing up that you didn't think was weird, but that was kind of weird?
Oh, there, that's a different type of question. Growing up, uh, I don't think so. Not like in
Okay.
my house. What about you?
I mean, just like regionally. So like some people eat different things. I thought about it because I'm in Oklahoma currently, and we went to a restaurant and that was actually on Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives. I didn't know what that
Mhm,
was really cool that we just walked in
mhm.
there and saw that. But they had this thing called calf fries, and I was like, "What
Cat?
is calf like CALF like
Oh,
calf
mhm.
fries?" And I like Googled, and I was like, "Hmm." So I asked the server, "I mean, what are calf fries?" She's like, "Well, have you ever heard of Rocky Mountain oysters?" And I'm with my best friend who's from New York, so she doesn't know what's going on. I know what Rocky Mountain oysters are, but I say no because I want to hear the server explain what it is. And she was like, "You haven't?" And I was like, "No." And she's like, "Well, they're calf testicles, and they're
Mhm.
fried. They're like breaded and fried, so they're like little um mounds
Mm-mm.
of ball fried, and so people in Oklahoma eat that,
That's what
apparently.
the calf fries are?
Calf fries are fried balls, calf balls. It's like they didn't wanna, have waste, and so they just made
Mhm.
everything food like a lot of people do,
Yeah,
all
y'all
over
got that.
historically.
But calves, people, like, tear up all the calf because even with what I have is, like, calf brains. I think the younger version of a lot of animals, like, they cut up more and, like, use a lot of the pieces and stuff. But yeah,
Mhm, so they
that's
fry the
interesting.
balls, fried balls. I didn't try them
Yeah,
yet, but I'm contemplating, like, maybe I will, I don't know, we'll see.
and they probably not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it kinda tastes like a mushy chicken nugget, but
Yeah. Well, you enjoy that. Yeah, that's a good question. So what from your region or something that you ate growing up is weird?
Yeah,
I
my
can't think
best
of
friend
anything that's
ate
weird.
scrapple. She's from Delaware originally, or her family is, and they ate scrapple, and I forgot what that is, but it was weird when I thought about it.
I heard of that too. Yeah, but in the
Ye
South, it's like a bunch of stuff. But
Oh, yeah, for
now it's like
sure.
everybody knows at least what those things are, but
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean
so
not really.
scrapple is a mush of pork scraps and trimmings combined with cornmeal, wheat, and flour and spices. So it's a
Mm,
congealed loaf of something. Kinda like
yeah,
bologna, I guess, but with pork, perhaps? So anyways, I think it's
yep.
interesting, what's regional and what people eat, so hit us and let us know if you have something cool from where you're from.
Yep, let us know. And we hope you guys have a good start to your new year, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Bye. Yeah.